I told you that Mike Green was a combined minus 107 for the Detroit Red Wings?
No, because of how bad they've been the last few years.
True. And it's not all Mike's fault. He also got injured. He was untradeable for a little while, but we did trade him away. Bottom line is, I think Mike Green's going to be one of those guys 10 to 15 years from now. When you say Mike Green played for the Wings for 5 years, half a decade, I'm going to say, like Mike Green to me is Detroit's Mr. Wings in this game. And by the way, it's not a I just love it because I think that's what the goal of wasn't responsible for a single meaningful, magical, memorable moment. 248-539-9797. You can text the exact same number. I don't know what it's worth to you, but I got one guy as a ship. Okay? Jason Maxey. Jason Maxey. Played here 4 years, I think. I don't think Jason Maxey ever had a moment where I'm like, damn. Now, he had some nice games postseason, if I remember correctly, with some rebounds, but there was nothing that ever stuck out. So I nominate Jason Maxey. Like Moreau is another.
All right, Jason Maxey is a great one, and it's funny because the personal situation or what you do for a living or whatever. Me personally, just worked at the Pistons flagship station back then when they were good, and they always put him on the air with us. So I knew he existed. He wasn't invisible, and he wasn't the greatest interview, and it usually lasted 5 minutes. But his answers were 10 words. That was it. So for me, not him, but I get it. I think that's a good one for most people. But I was struggling with this, and I could only come up with the names and you put the prep, and I don't want to steal thunder here and all that. And then suddenly something clicked here, and I thought of who I think I had a conversation. I'm sorry, I think I ruined the topic. So
Listen, I'll be the judge of that. It's my topic. Go ahead.
This guy played here 10 years. He played in 818 games. He played in 7 plate appearances in two World Series.
Wait a second.
He played here 2 different times, and I didn't know he left. Ramon Santiago.
Hold on, that's a great one. Oh, that is a stellar one.
10 years, Jeff.
Now, I remember Ramon maybe giving me a walk-off or two, but I think that's a great one. Now he's back to first coach, by the way, as a coach. Bob Tom, that's a great one.
He had 2,522 plate appearances. I remember maybe 50.
Well, that's the thing. That's what Mr. Invisible is. Like, the guy who plays here, you know he's on the team, but you just don't really remember anything huge that he did. Like, an example, and this doesn't really fit the criteria, but it must be said. Like, Vince Field, kind of Mr. Invisible. Dude had a 100 RBI. Dude played well, but he never really had a moment of this, either the nacho or getting picked up their face.
But that's it. He did. The picking off from the base, everybody was done for a second. He had a moment, and then he was too big of a switch. By the way, Ramon Santiago had 55 postseason plate appearances for the Tigers. Do you remember one?
No.
I win, didn't I? I won.
Well, we're not done just yet. 248-539-9797, Ramon Santiago. We're looking for Mr. Invisible. The guy that's been in Detroit a significant amount of time, but never really produced a magical, memorable moment. And believe it or not, on the ticket tags, there are a ton of Ramon Santiago. I said Mike Moreau, somebody said he won him the years. I semi-remember that. Dennis and the Clown, Johnny David. See, that's a good one. His memorable moment was buying his teammates robes. Do you remember that? Connell has teammates robes. And Scott Morris was the lady, and he tried to somehow stay in Detroit, and they didn't. He also did David pull-ups when he lost to Red Sox.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Johnny Gator's a good one. I mean, he wasn't here very long. I mean, you had said kind of somebody 5 years, maybe something like that. And the problem with Roth is he lost 20 games.
Yes.
So there's he had that moment.
So it wasn't this. That's a great point. Let's get for it. All right, 248-539-9797. Who's Mr. Invisible? Ticket text. Coming in fast and furious. So I'm going to read some ticket text. You ready for this?
All right.
Here we go. This is a great one.
Yeah. That's a great one.
That is it. The only thing I remember Drew Miller for is that he had gray in his hair way too early.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
I honestly,
And his brother was a very good goalie.
I don't remember him ever doing really anything except skate.
It's a great one. How about this one? And see, Brian Fenton says Mike drop, but he's so wrong about this one. He says Dan Cleary. Dan Cleary had a very memorable goal, a game winner, in Game 7 against the Ducks, I'm going to say in 2009.
Yes, yeah, they wouldn't have got back to the final if they hadn't won that game. That was a huge goal. It was late.
Massive.
Yeah.
I've never heard the Joe so electric. And, I mean, they had some pretty big moments in case you didn't realize it was Joe.
And then he
The other
wasn't
thing about him
invisible.
is-
He wasn't invisible because Ken Holland kept on a team 5 years too long
Exactly.
and got people so riled up. Like he became the poster child of the Ken Holland era.
Like, he was controversial, exactly. He was definitely not invisible. So no mic drop. Somebody says Mr. Invisible is Jeff Rieger. Listen, I've given you a lot of bad moments, okay? Maybe not so many good moments, but a lot of bad, so I feel I'm somewhat memorable. How about Robert Lane? Wasn't here long enough, but...
That's a good one, though. I like that, though.
And then Don Muehlbach. I mean, that is the epitome of Mr. Invisible, but he's a long snapper, so you're probably not gonna remember the guy. The only reason you know the guy is because he's been here 1,000 years.
Right, and he also had that costly snap like 15 years ago against the Vikings when the Lions were trying to tie it. Remember that on the extra point?
Now that you bring it up, wow, somewhat memorable. And then a couple more for you. Davy Cruz, which goes right along with your Ramon Santiago.
Yeah.
I mean, they pretty much one and the same, right? They played together. And then Rodney Stuckey. I can't remember a single significant moment as a Piston, and he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, and that was laughable, and he was part of the whole, when they all aligned against Custer and all that stuff went down, so... But that's not a bad one.
Two more. This person, and I disagree wholeheartedly, says Dominic Raiola. Dominic Raiola flipped off the fans.
Right.
That's a moment in itself. I think Dom, and I automatically think him flipping off the fans. Not to mention, he was a great quote. And good buddies with Chris Osgood. And then somebody says, random, Mr. Invisible, Chris Durham, Matt Stafford's favorite target.
Yeah,
He's also his college roommate, if I'm not mistaken.
that's a pretty good one. I like that one.
So, yeah, I think maybe Ramon Santiago takes it.
I think he has to because he did it for 10 years. 10 years. And the fact that he left for Seattle for like a season and a half or whatever, I don't remember that. Like he left thinking, I don't know how much more invisible you can be.
What about this? Two for you. Both Red Wings. Justin Applicator and Darren Hill. I disagree with both because both men, early on in their career, in the postseason, had massive goals. That's how Nightmare on Elm Street started. And Applicator, well, let's not forget, Applicator got called up from Michigan State, just got done winning the national championship with the Spartans. I believe he had the game-winning goal, and then he had some massive goals in the postseason.
Yeah. No,
He's just been here a very long time.
and Darren Helm, he was part of the penalty kill when he was healthy, and so that's obviously not invisible because that's a stress moment in a game. We do have a...
Especially those 5 on 3s.
Exactly. We got a call. Jeff in Shelby Township. You're on 97 The Ticket.
Hey, good morning. Alan Houston.
That's
He
such a
played
good
here. What did he ever do?
He played Robin to Grant Hill's Batman.
Well, I think the thing with Houston, Jeff, is for me, I remember when that whole contract thing came up and he was getting that kind of money and leaving. I'm like, how in the heck does he deserve that?
That's my point. I don't think he ever gave us any highlights. Nothing.
Well, it was the Knicks that gave him a ton of money, right? So,
Yeah.
The Knicks make weird decisions, but that's a great one. Now, as Tom mentioned early on, though, when you're playing a bad team, like pretty much what Green did, Mr. Invisible, it's hard to give you a real memorable moment because a lot of people try to tune those games out. They try to throw them out of the brain. But Allen Houston's very good. They made the postseason at least. always lost to the Hawks. 97 with the ticket.
What are you waiting for? It only takes an hour for you to have your child's heart screened. Get your kid's heart checked at the Ernst Cardiovascular Center at Beaumont Hospital in Royal Oak. Details at 971theticket.com. WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. A radio.com sports station. Sports headlines all day, every day. From the Sold by Mike Z Sports Desk, this is 97.1 The Ticket.
This update is brought to you by Power Home Solar. The sports world came to a near halt yesterday as games in the NBA and the NHL, as well as 7 contests in Major League Baseball, were all postponed on Thursday as players in those leagues continue to protest racial injustices in America. In the aftermath of the shooting of Jacob Blake last week in Kenosha, Wisconsin. One of the games that was canceled in baseball, the Tigers contest against the Minnesota Twins at Comerica Park. A decision that was reached first by the Twins and then by the Tigers after each team held player meetings earlier in the day. His manager, Ron Gardner.
I would have had a hard time playing today after going through that meeting. I didn't want to go out there. I listened to these guys talking to their heart, explaining what goes on in their lives every day. Some of our young players, and I didn't feel like we should be playing baseball.
In addition, 9 NFL teams canceled their respective training camp practices yesterday, similar to what the Lions did on Tuesday, which gave the players a chance to voice their concerns to the coaches and to each other about what's currently going on in this country. Hideki Matsuyama holds a one-shot lead on the field, the second-round play at the PGA Tour's BMW Championship. The second event in this year's FedEx Cup playoffs is scheduled to begin later today in suburban Chicago. Rough opening round for Tiger Woods. He carded a 3 over par 73 on Thursday. That leaves him 6 shots off the lead. There's sad news from the world of college basketball today, as Hall of Fame head coach Lute Olson passed away last night at the age of 85. Olson would win 589 games in 24 seasons with Arizona. He led the Wildcats to a national title in 1997. From the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com.
Good morning, everybody. It's the morning show. It's Friday. We're only, at least for us, 4 hours away from the weekend. Storms all over Metro Detroit. Stoney comes back on Monday. We have Tom, we have Heather, we have Greg. Hi, I'm Jeff. Hey, guys, how are we today?
Pretty good. Friday, we're all happy, right? I'm definitely ready for this weekend. I don't want to come off this complaining, but it's been a long week in terms of tech and things going on in the world.
Yeah, that's, we'll get into it later on in the program, but obviously the Tiger game yesterday, so Tom and I could not break down their big win against the Twins. Instead, you get a doubleheader today. First game at 1:10, right here in 97.1 The Ticket. The NBA did not play, but they did play against soon. The NHL did not play. And there were a lot of baseball games that were postponed as well. No WNBA either. So we'll get to that later on in the program.
Wasn't it interesting last night? It kind of felt like we were back in April almost. There's really hardly any sports on, and then you had major news with the convention going on, whether you're into that or not. The fact of the matter is it was going on, and I thought it was just crazy. Not to get into politics, but the lack of social distancing and no masks is just so typical of the divide of everything right now.
Yeah, it's all political. You know, it's funny, by the way. What time did Trump speak? Like, I tried. I did my best to stay awake. I wanted to hear what he had to say. And it had to be at like 11 o'clock.
About 10:30, I think, is when he got up there. And I literally, he was speaking as I was going up to bed. I can't stay up. I got to get some sleep, so we're rested for the show.
Right, I tried. But you mentioned masks, and it happened. It happened to me. So I was in the store the other day, and I saw a woman not wearing a mask. And she was just going about her grocery shopping, not wearing a mask. And I'm like, I got mine on. She doesn't have hers on. And I really thought about saying something, but I'm like, I'm not that guy. I'm just not. Then another woman came up to her and said, excuse me, can you put on your mask? She got a blank stare from that woman. And then she put on her mask.
And it has happened
Yes, thank you. It has happened. I was expecting. I was ready to pull out my video camera. I was
Like a Karen situation.
Yeah, I was expecting this big argument, and I grabbed some popcorn from the shelf and I started eating it. Like I was at the movies. It was my modern day movies. I was ready to go. It was the first time I ever saw it. Like another person asking a person to wear a mask, and it went rather well. But when it dawned on me that, like, in 3-4 months, it's the first time.
Well, I mean, I haven't ran into this yet where I have seen somebody tell somebody else to put one on. I've witnessed a couple dirty looks at people that haven't had them on in places. I've only done it once, and I do think you have to allow, I've done this a couple times, gotten out of my car, almost made it up to the door, and realized, oh, I got to go back and get my mask. And then the other thing, I actually went into a gas station one time since this has all been going on, and I didn't have it on, and I got to the counter, I'm like, sorry, I forgot my mask.
That happened to me too, Tom, at a gas station. I was just like, it hasn't hit me yet. Like, it's still not a natural thing to put on a mask. And I ran in to pay for my gas and grab a water, and then I got all the way to the counter, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not wearing a mask. I was the only one in there besides the attendant, but I did apologize as well. I haven't seen it yet either, Jeff. I haven't witnessed a Karen situation. I haven't even seen what you saw.
Have you
I
guys,
was ready to go. I was like, oh my God, it's happening.
have you guys had a conflict or an incident where you were in a place and somebody wasn't wearing one and it made you a little uncomfortable?
No, I just walked away.
Right, I've seen people not wearing one, but it doesn't really, I mean, if they were up in my face, I'd be uncomfortable, but it was at a grocery store and I just avoided them.
Right.
It doesn't make me uncomfortable. Yeah, I just don't go to the same area they're standing in. It doesn't make me uncomfortable.
Now, we went out to eat it was last Saturday night, and we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and there was a group of teenagers that came in and sat next to us, and they were taking them off before they were getting into their seat. And then they got right back up. Somebody had to go to the bathroom, and he didn't have his on, and I think one of them didn't even have one on, period, and stuff. And I was a little bit like, I was not to the point where I was going to say something, but I was a little annoyed by it, because I got to say, they're the one group that concerns me.
Right.
Because they're just doing whatever they want. They don't care.
Yeah, the young people haven't looked good during coronavirus, but I'm with you. I would never say anything. I'm so non-confrontational. I wouldn't say anything. And I didn't say anything the other day when I saw this woman. I will say this, though, and people disagree. When you hit up the drive-thru, do you strap one on?
That is a great question.
I do.
My
I do.
husband
Let me tell you why.
does. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's being nice to
Yeah.
and being thoughtful about the person at the window, because how many people is that person seeing? And we all know with the masks, allegedly, right? It protects the other